Hello, folks. Hopefully, me trying out Chill Hop Radio just now didn't explode your ears. Could it? It certainly exploded mine. But I don't think it came through. Hopefully, sounds fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I should just be playing my intro music. And thank you, Beans. So when I redirect to the tarot screen, then you'll probably hear the music. But I already lowered it. But nice. Couldn't hear. Okay, cool. Because when I got to the Chill Hop Radio, it just like exploded my ears. But yeah, we'll get started in a bit. Just gonna settle myself, ground myself, also get some water. Actually, Beans got me some water. But yeah, we'll get started soon. Alright, let's do it. Let me go ahead and redirect to my tarot screen. Alright, everything is in order, especially the Magmite. Let me actually move him over here. Alright, so hello everyone. Good evening, or good morning, good afternoon. I'm Bibinka Bear, artist, historian, art historian, and Sunbear PNG tuber, and today we're doing some tarot card readings. What? Can you see the Magmite alright? What? Oh yeah, so we can see the Magmite. Okay. Disregard. Can you hear me though? I'm seeing that my levels are moving. The chill hop is moving, is schmoving. Hi Gudakata. Hello. Thanks for joining in. Sure can. Alright, so it seems like everything is in order. So we're doing some tarot card readings today. I've been doing a little bit more studying of the cards, so I'm less unsure, hopefully, this time around. And I decided to just kind of like, how do I say this? Like, make the rules and like the protocol a bit simpler. Because last time I had like a whole Google form where I was like, which kind of reading do you want? Do you want one card? Do you want 3 cards? Do you want a question? You want a card of the day? So now I'm just going to do 1 card readings for everyone, and instead of a Google form, I actually deleted the Google form too. Instead of a Google form, I'm just gonna do the whole play with this one thing that I added to the chat. Play with viewers bot. It's the queue. So if you were here last time, it's pretty much the same thing that you would type in ~join to enter the queue. I haven't opened the queue though. So not yet, because I just wanted to get through the rules and such. Not really rules. I also wanted to just settle myself. But yeah, we would pretty much start with just like 1 card readings. Hopefully that'll be better on my voice, and then also like center your thoughts. And I was thinking like, should I limit it to people that didn't get to participate last time? But nah, I'm gonna just open it up to everyone and anyone that wants to join in. You can request a reading. But after a while, of course, once I feel my voice given out, I think that's when I'll close the queue. And if there's just not a lot of people in chat today, that's completely fine. I do have other things that I might want to try out, including I know that there's like a tarot game that I installed. I already forgot what it was called. Cosmic Sisterhood? You know what, let me minimize my screen. And the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood. So that's a plan to fall back on if not enough people are in chat today. Which, like I said, totally fine. It's a Saturday night slash Sunday morning, depending on where you're at, so completely understand. But otherwise, while I start to shuffle my cards, Pet the Magmite, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the queue. So open. Cool, the queue is now open, so anyone that is interested in a tarot card reading can just join by typing !join in the chat, and then you'll enter the queue. But while that's happening, I'm gonna go ahead and start shuffling the cards. And to kind of go over my philosophy again, I do have it in like a marquee at the bottom there. But when it comes to tarot cards, I don't really like I think they're a fun tool for introspection. They're a fun tool to kind of like get into. Oh, cool. Thank you, Kudaketta, for joining the queue. I feel like tarot is a fun tool for introspection, very similar to like astrology in my opinion, where like it's a cool way to kind of center your own thoughts, but not necessarily to affect anything okay, how do I say this? To be specific, I use them for reflection but I don't think they can predict the future or predict other people's thoughts. If that makes sense. So, oh wait, let me do this kind of shuffling where I just do 3 rows. So I think like for example in my first tarot stream I did like a 3-card reading where it was past, present, and future. And when you get your future card, it's not necessarily that this is what's gonna happen in your future, like this giant tower is gonna collapse all around you and that's your future. No, I don't, that's not what I think. It's more of like when it comes to like the future, the cards more so can direct your thoughts into what you might be anxious about or what you might want to focus on. So, for example, like the tower is an infamous tarot card because it, like, you know, it implies disaster. So if you get the tower as part of your reading, and it's specifically like in reference to the future, it's not saying that disaster is going to happen in your future. It's that maybe you're worried about like a certain disaster, or maybe you're any anxieties that you have about the future, you're kind of overestimating it to be this big tower-sized disaster when it's really just like, you know what they say, like mountains out of molehills. So yeah. And I think because we just have anxiety, my beloved, it's very real, right? So yeah, that's kind of a bit of my disclaimer. Like I don't think that these, you know, as other tarot card readers have said, these are pieces of cardboard, and yes, they have pretty designs, and yes, another way to read it is that like, you know, these, they have like cool designs, but they can't necessarily predict the future. So that's how I see it. And for now, since we just have Kudaketta in the queue, I'm actually going to start off with, I guess, a reading for myself. I'll start off with myself first, and then we'll shuffle the cards again. And then we'll do a 1-card reading for Kudaketta. And then we'll go from there. Like I said, if folks don't end up joining in today, completely fine. We can just go on to either more tarot discussion. Last tarot reading really accurate, scarily accurate? Oh man. I wrote down a list of everyone's readings from last time just to like remember. You had the Page of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Emperor. Ah, yeah. And since then, I've also done a little bit more studying of the cards. I've been watching more YouTube videos in different ways that you could like interpret the cards. So hopefully, hello. Oh, thanks for joining, Mega Bronson. Nice. So yeah, let's start off with a reading for myself. Then we'll go to Kuriketa, Mega Bronson, and then go from there. Which card am I feeling? I'm feeling this one that feels like it's kind of hiding. Yeah, You joined the queue. Oh, wait, should I just saw the message. It says, Mega Bronson, you're already in the queue? Did I not clear out the queue from last time? I guess I didn't clear it out from last time, but yeah, I'll do Kudaketa first and then Mega Bronson. Or myself first, then Kudaketa, then Mega Bronson. There we go. Just as also a practice run. Oh no, it's already reversed. So, let me adjust the light. What happens if I just turn it off? Is the light of the room enough? Oh, now it's purple. I'll turn it back on. But reduce. This time's pretty cool. I got it from work. It's still shining directly on the card, but see if there's a way that this can... I think right here is fine. Okay, so... Yeah, that's right, Mega Bronson. You were last time, so I guess the queue didn't quite, like, clear out. So, that's probably why, but that's all good. Alright, so I got the 10 of Cups. Let's look at the symbolism here. This looks South Asian, but, like, not too familiar. So, I know I said this last time, but just to kind of go over it again, the tarot cards have different types of cards. I'll actually just show it here. Some of which they have like suits, kind of like you know, like hearts, diamonds, and playing cards. This one has stuff like the wands, the swords, the coins, and the cups. And then there's also another type of card called the major arcana, which are just like, they don't have a suit, it's just like the card itself. So for example, the Lovers is an example of a major arcana, so this one's a minor arcana, and it's of cups. Cups usually has to do with one's emotions, and like the unconscious. But like I said, I've been like watching more videos recently about like different interpretations of the tarot, and cups can also represent like creativity, but like passive creativity, as well as stuff like relationships and collaboration. So just going off of the imagery itself before I actually look into what myth this is referencing, or what not myth, what story this is referencing, I am seeing a family, so a mother, what I assume to be a mother, father, and child, and then in the water is like a masculine figure plus two feminine figures, kind of looking upon the happy family, and the family doesn't look, you know, like scared at all, because like the three figures in the water look a bit intimidating, like they're here to get the baby, right? Because they're coming out of like this dark water, but the family doesn't look nervous or scared at all, so it might just be more of like, oh cool, like happy family, love it. Oh, no worries, Mega Bronson, go get something to eat. Go get something to eat. So yeah, so far I'm seeing a happy family, and then some onlookers essentially. And then the 10 of Cups, like I said, cups has to do with like relationships, emotions, the unconscious. So like, but sometimes 10 can mean an excess of things. Like the 10 of Wands usually has to do with like you bit off more than you can chew. So like this could be like, I don't know, something full of either emotionality or like an overwhelming feeling of collaboration. But I also drew it reversed. So maybe there's either a feeling of missing community or missing collaboration. But as always, let me refer to the booklet. The 10 of Cups. Ah, interesting. So this is from a story called Julnar the Seaborn. The Ten of Cups represents true emotional and spiritual fulfillment. After many hard trials, Julnar finds a happy, loving husband and has a child. Her brother rises from the sea, which often represents the subconscious, to congratulate her and celebrate her newfound life. Upright harmony, reunion, security, domestic bliss, found family. Dysfunctional family, if reversed, broken home, instability, conflict, or neglect. So that's pretty interesting because, like, at the moment, I don't feel any sense of like dysfunctional family or dysfunctional relationships with folks. Um, to be completely honest, the closest thing has been like a bit of FOMO from like I went on Instagram and like saw some of my friends like hanging out and partying. And I did have that moment of like, oh, I didn't get invited. And then I realized later on, wait, I was invited. I was totally invited and I chose not to go. so so maybe it's something like that. But I'm kind of curious about the myth. And since we have like just two folks in the queue at the moment, I actually do have time. Yeah, it's the worst enemy. That's real though, because like I was kind of just scrolling to scroll, and I was watching people's stories, and I was like, oh, I miss these folks. But whenever they're hanging out with one another, I'm like, oh man, I kind of miss hanging out. But also like, I didn't really put in the effort to like hang out with anyone, because it's not like people don't invite me. It's not like people don't talk to me. I'm just kind of like, oh, thanks for the invite, but I'd rather stay in. Like, I'd rather stay inside and either play video games or watch streams or stream myself. So that's why I'm a little like, for right now the card isn't quite fitting like my situation. Like relationship with my family is fine. Relationship with my friends is fine. It's just like I said, I'm a little too lazy to hang out. But let's check out this myth of Julnar the Seaborn and her son, King Badr Basim of Persia. I just googled it. King Shahriman was given a slave girl called Julnar the Seaborn, a marid. What is a marid? Oh, it's a type of jinn. Okay, so let's take a look at this again. If you look closely, there's these figures with like lighter skin. Maybe those are the kind of like the mermaids. I'd rather stay inside and sleep. No, me too. I actually just woke up from a nap right before this stream. So yeah, I also like, you see, if I went out to a party, I wouldn't have time to take a nap, right? But yeah, so it looks like maybe these are types of jinn. To me, they kind of look like mermaids at first because they're coming out from the water and they have this pale skin, you know? So I guess she's a type of jinn or a type of like spirit. A supernatural fire creature that possesses free will. What's a marid? Is marid specifically... Oh, it doesn't say here. Okay, it doesn't say. So yeah, I'm reading the Wikipedia or a... Oh, it's an Arabian Nights wiki. Interesting. So, King Shahriman is given a slave girl named Julnar, and their son is Badr Basim. So maybe this is the king right here. This is Julnar, and this is Shahriman, and they have a son called Badr Basim. When Badr is an adult and the new king, he overhears his mother and uncle Salih speaking of a bride for him. They mention Jawraha. At the sound of her name, Badr falls in love. Oh, it's kind of cute. However, Jawra's father, King Al-Samandal, will accept no husband for her and chases Salih out of the palace. Salih responds by conquering... Huh? By conquering them. Okay. Jawraha flees to hide, and as luck would have it, winds up on the same island as Badr. She pretends to be in love with him, turns him into a bird, and abandons him there. This is an interesting story. She instructs her maidservant Marsina to abandon Badr on the thirsty island. Oh no. I can already see the jokes with that. Not the thirsty island. But Marsina can't bring herself to do and leaves Badr in a fruit tree. Badr is captured and given to a king whose wife recognizes him and restores him to human form. Badr leaves but is shipwrecked and winds up on an island inhabited only by mules, asses, horses, and one old grocer named Abdallah. Abdallah. Yeah, right? Really dramatic lore. Abdallah explains that the island is ruled by the sorceress Queen Lab, who turns all her lovers into animals. Queen Lab and Badir fall in love, but then he catches her cheating on him in the form of a bird. What is with the animal transformations here? Abdallah tells Badir what to do. When Queen Lab tries to feed him enchanted grain, he must throw it back in her face and recite a phrase. When he does this, she turns into a she-mule, which he then attempts to sell. Unfortunately, he sells her to her own mother, who promptly turns Badir into a bird again and puts him in a cage. Abdallah hears this and sends a message to Julnar and her mother Farasha, who assemble an army of jinn and rescue him. Now in human form again, Badir still insists that he wants to marry Jawraha. This time she and her father agreed to the marriage. Okay. If I'm understanding this correctly, I think I might have to look for another myth that is about Julnar herself, because it seems to be about her son Badir, but it seems to be like he finds out that he's like betrothed to someone and like he immediately falls in love just from the name, but the girl is just not into it and like turns him into a bird, and he goes through all these misadventures having to do with animal transformation, and eventually he gets out of it, but at the end, he's like, nah, I still want to marry her. And his like parents are just like, yeah, okay, yeah, sounds good. Let me see if there's another myth that has to do with Julnar, because that's kind of that's kind of interesting. Okay, I found another one. Once again, none of these are all on just kind of random websites with no, I guess I can't say no source because I think this is from the Arabian Nights. But if you guys are ready for another story, let's look at this one. So once upon a time, there lived a king of Ajamland. Basically, fuck red flags, we ball. No, for real. There lived a king of Ajamland whose name was Shahriman. So that's him, Shahriman. He had 100 concubines, as one does. Each was more beautiful than the last. Unfortunately, none of his very many wives had been able to provide him a child that he so greatly desired. Shahriman began to despair and worry that he would never father an heir for his vast and large kingdom. It was at that moment that a merchant appeared in his court, accompanied by the most graceful woman anyone had ever laid their eyes on. She was so exquisite that she appeared to be from another world. I'm just gonna slow down with my reading. I think that's why I get tongue-tied. The king proceeded to ask the merchant for her bride price. It was then that he came to realize that she was a slave. The merchant had purchased her for a fair sum of money and had spent an exorbitant amount for her upkeep. Nevertheless, the merchant decided to present her as a gift to the king, as he wanted to ensure that she would have a good home. King Shahriman gladly and gratefully accepted the merchant's generous gift. In exchange, the king gave him a lovely cloak and more money than the merchant could have ever dreamed of. The merchant then went on his merry way. For 1 whole year, the king remained devoted to his beautiful and mysterious wife. So now they're married. For the entirety of their first year together, the king continued to shower her with presents and serve her all manner of lavish food. He entertained her with music, showed her rich artworks of all the manner. Throughout this period, the mysterious woman spoke not a single word. Oh, she didn't say a word? Okay. Finally, the king told her that if she would give him a son, he would declare her to be his queen. The woman finally smiled and admitted that she was indeed with child. Oh. The king's heart was elated and overjoyed, for the woman whom he had fallen in love with had not only spoken to him, but had also announced that he would soon be a father. Shahriman asked his mysterious wife why she had remained silent for so long. It was then that she told him her story. Her name was Julnar, and she was a princess of a sea kingdom. She had a disagreement with her brother and had climbed up on land. When she arrived on land, she met a man who was vile and almost killed him. However, she had also met the merchant, who was kind, hospitable, and virtuous, and brought her to the king. Julnar then told her husband that if he hadn't treated her so well, she would have escaped to the sea a long time ago. With her story finally told, she returned to reconcile with her family, where they helped her give birth to her sons, Prince Badir Basim. Queen Julnar was crowned and lived happily with King Shahriman and their son. Her sea family often came to visit. Okay, so That's also an interesting story. Where basically he has 100 concubines, but none of them were able to give him an heir to the throne. And then one day a merchant just comes by with his enslaved woman, who happens to be a djinn. And she doesn't speak for a very long time. But then finally he says like, "Oh man, I want a kid," and she's like, "Oh well, you're in luck, buddy, because I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant." And then like that's just the first time she opens her mouth, and then she tells the story of like, "Oh, actually, I got into a fight with my brother, and then this guy found me, and he was kind of a dick. But then the merchant found me, and he was great, and then he sold me to you, and here we are." Just like my Turkish dramas. Humu humu. So yeah, that's an interesting story, but I think I'm understanding the symbolism of it, of like after waiting a very long time, finally like they were gifted for their patience with a child, and even like the family that she had quarreled with came by to visit her. So it's this kind of a ending to the story where there's like a fulfillment of like emotional, journeys. It just seems positive overall. So because it's reversed, there's a feeling of unfulfillment with this, an unfulfillment of not necessarily like family stuff, but just like an unfulfillment with, I guess, like the sense of community. Um, maybe it does have to do. Well, like I said, like my first thought was to the whole like, oh, friends are inviting me to things, but I'm not going out to them. So maybe this is a sign that I should probably be a bit more open-minded about that. Or maybe not even IRL friends. It could just be reaching out to more folks in like the various discords and like visiting other people's streams as well. So, because I haven't been doing that as much. I do want to watch other people's streams. Though this morning, like, or not this morning, a couple hours ago, I was like super tired. So that's how I'm going to interpret my own reading. And with that, let's go ahead and go on to Kuraketa. So let me go ahead and do some shuffling. And all the readings for today are gonna be one card. Just as kind of like a vibe of the day, or like something to either ponder on, or or yeah, just think about for the day. Okay. Oh no, I messed up that shuffle. There we go. Turkish dramas sound pretty interesting though, now that you say that. There we go, another shuffle. Alright, so let us do a reading for Kuraketa. And after that, I think I'm gonna reset the queue so I don't get too confused. So let's see. I'm gonna pick this card. Alright, so let's see which one it is. Oh, interesting. I remember drawing this one last time as well. So this is the Five of Cups. Let's put it right side up just so that we can look at the imagery. This is the Five of Cups, and I drew the Ten of Cups earlier. So like I said, cups usually has to do with emotionality, the emotions, the unconscious, but also passive creativity, and then your relationships with people. Reversed again. Yeah, that doesn't always mean a negative thing though, because right side up this looks already pretty negative. So right side up. Hello, Kiki loading. Hello. If you would like a tarot card reading, feel free to put exclamation point join in the chat, and then I can get you one. But yeah, so like I said, I immediately know the symbolism for this is La Llorona. Cool, thanks for joining the queue, Kiki loading. So yeah, we got La Llorona over here, and she is weeping over her, first of all, these cups, but in the original mythology, it is kind of weeping over, I believe, the loss of her children, and she, like, I actually don't know, like, the full mythology. I actually grew up, I think this is one of the first, like, folk tales I ever learned as a child, because I grew up in an area with a lot of Hispanic culture. so so I do remember La Llorona is like the whole thing is that she's crying over her children, but there's like competing stories on whether she killed her own children or whether they were just unfortunately taken from her. But the Five of Cups, like I said, emotion, connection, that kind of stuff. Here in the image, she's weeping over three ones in a river. Yeah, yeah. By the way, this is a really cool deck that I'm using. This is called the Tarot of the Divine. It is a combination of traditional tarot imagery, but with folk tales and mythology. So you'll have the one that I just drew was the Ten of Cups. We are just talking about a myth from Persian, not a myth, a folk tale from Persian lore. So we have stuff like Enkidu and Gilgamesh from Sumerian mythology. We have indigenous mythology. Yeah, I love the art as well. We even have Greek mythology. So yeah, this deck is really cool. And this one, I don't know if it's specifically from Mexico, but like I said, I do know it from some Hispanic connections. I didn't notice this before. Look at that. There's a hand reaching out to her hair. So for one, this card has an abundance of water, which, like I said, water can represent like emotions or the unconscious, and then the three cups that are kind of like dropped in the water. So it's almost like this feeling of drowning in one's emotions or drowning in one's sorrows. But there's also two cups here that are high and dry. They are just fine. So this could be very symbolic of someone kind of like mourning the loss or kind of weeping over something that was either unfortunate or that was lost. It's even to the point where like that emotionality is dragging them down here, but almost ignoring or like not realizing that there's also two cups perfectly fine over here. So that's one interpretation right off the bat, but you drew it reversed. So it could even be the opposite of that. Whereas La Llorona is like, she's being dragged down by like the emotions, she's being dragged down by things that she lost. If it's reversed, it could be that no, your eyes are quite open to what you still have. And it's not that like, this card is still like one kind of sadness, so like you're aware of like the sad things or kind of the unfortunate things, but at the same time your eyes are more clear and you are looking at what you still have. The two cups that are still high and dry. But, as I always like to do, just in case, just to cover my bases, let's refer to the little guidebook that we have. So the Five of Cups. Yeah, so this is specifically from Mexico, Mexican folklore. The Five of Cups is useless regret without learning. Jealous of her husband's new wife, La Llorona drowns her own children, and now her wailing ghost wanders the earth. She continues to wallow in grief, refusing to seek redemption or happiness. So upright self-pity, guilt, regret, stagnation, depression. They even say that this is regret without learning. So upright, it might be regret, but with learning. Reverse, so moving on, forgiveness, acceptance, finding peace, and encouragement. So yeah, it's not such a bad thing that you got this reversed, because like it could mean that you are kind of seeing what you still have. There's still that lingering feeling of regret, but you're able to kind of move on, or you're able to kind of see things on the more optimistic side. And you said if I relate it to my romantic life, it's so accurate. Oh man. So yeah, like it's a sign of like moving on or like accepting grief, so to speak. So yeah, that's a really interesting one. And like with La Llorona, like she has many different versions. The one in the book says that like she drowns her own children out of grief of like losing her love. But I think I've heard other versions where it's like, like I think the kids are taken from her or her children are murdered in some way. So like just like there's different versions of that tale, there could be kind of different versions of however you're interpreting it. So for example, if you're interpreting it to your romantic life, it could also be encouraging you to kind of also look at things from different perspectives and see like what is the cause of the grief or what is the cause of the emotionality. because there might be another story there. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. But this is a pretty interesting card. I like the imagery a lot because last time I didn't notice this. I didn't notice that there's quite literally a hand from the waters dragging her down. Because that's definitely not her hand. But yeah. Yeah, been a rough year in that aspect. I'm so glad even the cards can see that you've gotten. Yeah. There you go. And like I said, it might not even necessarily be the cards. That's just one interpretation of it. It could also just be like this is where your thought process went when I told this story. So like it could also just be yourself recognizing that you've gotten better in that aspect. So yeah, there you go. If there aren't any, won't get into details, but last year was awful, like Omega awful. Yeah, understandable. I completely understand. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful in some way. And yeah. So we'll go ahead and put it back in the deck, and then we'll see if Mega Bronson, if he's back from getting some grub. If you are, let me know. I will come back to you whenever you come back, but otherwise we can also move on to Kiki loading. So I'll give you a bit. And actually, I'm realizing my music isn't as loud as it. Oh, cool. You're back. Just in time. Let me just put up the chill hop music. There we go. All right, cool. So I'll do a reading for you. All of the readings for today are just going to be one card. Oh, do Kiki loading first? Okay. You got it. You got it. So yeah, all right. So we'll do a one card reading for Kiki loading. And then, is there a specific name you want me to refer you by, or do you want me to just say Kiki loading? Because like, is your name yourself Kiki? L? You want me to call you L? That'd be really cool, actually, because is that not, in Hebrew, isn't that the word for God? That's why you have names like Danielle, Gabriel. Oh, cool. Cool. You got it, L. Yeah, and that's, I'm not religious at all, but I did, my minor was in religious studies, and I did a class, I had a really cool class in community college that was, reading the Bible as literature. So not necessarily as a religious text. Kal-El, oh, hey, yeah. So I'm just gonna shuffle it in this way to make sure that my, like the reverse ones are actually reversed. Yeah, I had a really cool class in community college where you read the Bible as a piece of literature as opposed to like reading it as like a religious, thing. The professor was awesome because he is a devout Christian but also openly gay. So like he, like in terms of like kind of balancing both like his religion and his life, like he was very much open to like different interpretations of like certain biblical ideas or certain biblical I don't want to say lines, but just parts of the Bible. And like he always kind of encouraged people to not necessarily read the Bible literally, but see kind of like a lot of the symbolism, and also take into account stuff like context, right? Context. Close to Me and Beans. It's the one that's close to Me and Beans, not the one that is close to because I used to live with my parents in the it's like funny trying to say this without trying to dox myself. But yeah, it's the college that is close to Me and Beans, because yeah, that class was awesome. And it gave me a new kind of perspective on the Bible, because growing up like not religious and growing up seeing people that kind of use the text as an excuse to be problematic in some way, like, it gave me a more positive look on the Bible. I don't know. No, it's not the one that's close to you. It's way closer to me and Beans. But yeah. I talk about all of that because even within like the book of Genesis, there's like 3 different ways that like, or throughout the Bible itself, there's like different ways that God is referred to. So sometimes he's called like the Lord Almighty, and in the original Hebrew that was just Yahweh, like YHWH, and then sometimes he's referred to as like El or Elohim, which means like God. So if you see a name that has L at the end, like Daniel or Gabriel, it usually means like yeah, it usually means like something of God. Hello, Cookie Clifford. Welcome, welcome. I got... Oh, thank you for adding the permitted term. You had a religious professor that talked about... Yeah, his devout Christian friend that's gay. Yeah. Yeah, that professor is awesome. He's just truly like an awesome dude. But alright, let's get a card for Kiki loading. And let's see which one jumps out at me. I think this one. This one. But hello, Cookie Clifford. If you're interested in a tarot card reading, go ahead and type !join and you will enter the queue. So, yeah. But if you also just want to chill, you can also just chill. No worries there. I used to be Catholic, but only by name. Ah, yeah, my parents are Catholic, but they didn't do like a huge thing of, oh, thanks for the follow, Cookie Clifford. Yeah, my parents didn't really like... They're like, you gotta believe in this or else you're gonna go to hell. Like, it was very, very passive. Pretty sure that's most Catholics. That's fun. Yeah. Alright, so here's your card. Ooh, you got a major arcana one. You got the star. So, the star... Like, major arcana, like I said, are like... I don't know, they usually mark like pretty major things. This is almost like a blinking red light of like, yeah, you should pay attention to this, or like yeah, this is a big important. But the star is a pretty interesting one. Before, I don't quite recognize the folklore just yet, but the imagery does remind me of like Slavic or Eastern European. Yeah, you like the art? I also like it a lot. It looks Eastern European in a way. She has like this headdress that kind of reminds me of like Russian or Ukrainian, you know, costumes, holding a little goat. She's looking up at the night sky from like this forested area. So she's looking up at the stars, the namesake of this card. Ooh, it looks familiar because of the lamb. Yeah, I'm interested to see what the culture is. Or goat, yeah, it could be either or, right? Either or. But based off what I know about the star as a card, the immediate word that people use with the star is inspiration. So like major inspiration or kind of looking towards the light in the darkness type of thing. Let's see, like usually the star elicits like, yeah, like inspiration, kind of like how like in older times or even nowadays you look up to the stars and see constellations, but like those constellations aren't readily apparent. Oftentimes people, like especially in like ancient cultures, they would create shapes out of those constellations and then the stories to go along with it. So like it could be kind of like looking to something that isn't quite there or quite formulated just yet and kind of creating a plan with it, just like making a story out of constellations. So that's kind of just like going off of the imagery. To go off of the stars like traditional imagery, it still is inspiration, but let's go ahead and look at the book. Should be right here. Here we go. So Sister Alyonushka and Brother Ivanushka. This is a Russian fairy tale. So the star is a symbol of hope after disaster. The need to remain positive after misfortune, to remember that things can get better again. It is staying calm and open to future possibilities. Let me move this up. Seeing your situation with open eyes, mind, and heart. So upright, hope, serenity, inspiration, insight, spirituality. Reverse, crushed dreams, insecurity, despair, dejection, exhaustion. So I think what's important, and they kind of mention it here in this description, in that the major arcana usually tells a story. It starts from like the fool's journey. It starts from the Fool, and then it goes through different kind of like archetypes. And then one of the like most infamous cards in tarot is the Tower, because the Tower signifies stuff like disaster or a big shakeup, essentially. But the Star is what immediately follows. So it's kind of like, as you can see, she's surrounded by nature. Or actually, I could just hold up the card itself. She's surrounded by nature. As if the tower has already fallen. So you said in the chat that you're going through some major changes right now. It could feel that like literally everything has crashed down upon you, and you're kind of just left to yourself in the forest. Hi, Sime. Hello, hello. We still have some spots available if you want to join in for a tarot card reading. If you want to join in, feel free to type exclamation point and join in the chat, and it'll add you to the queue. Right now we're doing a reading for Kiki Loading, and then we're going to be doing Mega Bronson, followed by, I believe, Cookie Clifford. But yeah, so we're looking at... Ooh, nice. Thanks for joining. So yeah, we're looking at a card for Kiki Loading. We have the Star. Like I said, it could feel like things have kind of crashed around you. You're here in the dark, but up above, even if it's not the full moon, you still have the stars to kind of count on. One thing I'm also noticing with this is her foot is in the water over here. Water, in terms of tarot, usually has to do with one's emotions or one's connections to other people. So having her hair and toe in here means that, like, one thing that can help with this time of need is also being connected either to your emotions or to other people. In terms of the imagery, there's this little white lamb, which, like, is... another way that I'm analyzing these cards is also through art history, because my degree is in art history. Usually like a pure white lamb like this, it's funny we're talking about the Bible, because like in at least medieval imagery, usually it's associated with like Jesus. But that doesn't have to be what the association is here, you know. But just letting you know that's one interpretation, but like it could also be something, you know, like Jesus is an important figure in Christianity, Catholicism. You could think about who is your central figure, you know, that you are like clutching onto. Because we're kind of going in with the assumption that this is you, essentially, this figure over here. Though, one thing that I can do is I can also look into the story itself, because I'm not familiar with it at the moment. And I do love learning about it. So Sister Alyonushka and Brother Ivanushka. Since I'm not seeing the brother, I wonder if it's a story where, like, he got turned into the little lamb. So, Alyonushka and Ivanushka. A Russian folk tale. Let's see how long this is. It's a bit long, but if you just Google it, let's see if I can either read through a little bit or just summarize. So, once lived an old man with his wife. They had a daughter named Alyonushka and a son named Ivanushka. The old couple died, and the siblings were left all alone. This is kind of like Hansel and Gretel in a way. Alyonushka set off to work with their little brother. They had a long way to go. I'm just like kind of lightly reading it. I'm thirsty, be patient, little brother. They walked up and walked. The sun was now high up. Oh. Interesting. So the siblings, Alyonushka and Ivanushka, were essentially left homeless when their grandparents, or when their parents died. Then they encountered a cow's hoof filled with water. And Ivanushka, the little brother, is like, oh, can I drink out of it? And she says, no, you're going to turn into a calf. And then they came upon a horse's hoof, and the brother wanted to drink out of it, and she said no, or else you'll turn into a foal. So he agrees. They go on. Then they come upon a goat's hoof filled with water. If you drink out of it, it'll turn you into a baby goat. Oh, but this time the sister was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I Wikipedia'd the story itself is not super long, but I don't want to read out the whole thing. So the little brother drank water out of a goat's hoof and turned into a little goat. So that's what's happening here. Alyonushka burst into tears. She sat sobbing on the ground by a stack of hay while the little goat skipped around in play. Just then a merchant happened to be riding by. The merchant asked her what's wrong. Okay, the merchant says, "Oh, don't cry. If you marry me, I'll give you lots of gifts, including gold and silver." And she thinks about it and says yes. um, along with the brother who is now a goat. And then a witch appears. Huh. Not touch the food or drink, morning or evening, never. Da, da, da. Okay. So, I just did a really quick read through of the story, and so basically like um her little brother turned into a goat. She's really sad, and like a merchant comes by and offers to at least give her a happy life to get over the grief of her little brother turning into a goat. But then a witch tries to trick the merchant into killing the goat, and he, through some folk magic, is able to communicate that to her sister via the water. I think he like bends down to drink, but he's actually like whispering to the water to deliver a message of like, save me, save me. Eventually, like, the entire village helps to save the little goat, and like no one dies, and the goat becomes so overjoyed that he does a somersault and turns back into Alyonushka's brother. So essentially there's a happy ending to this. So this seems to be the part of the story where like her brother was just turned into a goat and she's looking up into the sky, and right before the merchant comes and tries to at least give her a happy life. So that's kind of the same interpretation as like the star itself is just like, keeping on with hope, looking to the stars, keeping in mind your kind of like central figure in life, or even taking advantage or being in touch with your emotions and the people around you. So yeah, interesting. Bahala ka on the last one, yo. Nah, don't get a sugar daddy, or the community will provide, is what it's trying to say. But yeah, so that is the reading with the card the star. So hopefully that helps a little bit in terms of whatever your situation may be. Let me know if you have any questions. But in the meantime, Mega Bronson, you ready for your reading? Let me know. Because I haven't moved the queue yet because it's kind of out of order. So is the community the sugar daddy? I mean, it can be. Alright, cool. Let's go on with Mega Bronson. But do you have any questions or anything, Kiki L? Just let me know. So multiple sugar daddies. That's exactly. Okay, cool. No questions. Let's go ahead and go to Mega Bronson. Sounds like communism to me. Gosh, don't make me get up on the soapbox. Well, actually, nah. Become part of a cult. Oh no. The community provides, brother. The island provides, brother. Pet the Magmite. Alright, so I'm now doing a reading for Mega Bronson. And then followed by, I believe it's Cookie Clifford, and then C-May. Good Magmite. Yeah, you didn't eat my Uncrustable last time, so it's a good Magmite. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Which card? Actually, right away, I felt like I should do the top card. The card is basically saying to become the peak of a pyramid scheme. That's funny. No, it's supposed to be inspiration. No! Everyone provides that way. I mean, that's one interpretation. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Y'all said it. The community provides. But all right, so here is Mega Bronson's card. We have the Nine of Cups. So this is the third Cups card that we've had so far, and we have a couple here with plenty of cups. As I mentioned before, cups is usually associated with water, but also emotions, the unconscious. I feel like everyone so far has had something relating to water or cups, but also community. And then with cups, that means that there's definitely, like, if not an overabundance, then just an abundance of cups. That would be so slay of you. Oh man. So let's go ahead and take a look at the imagery here. They both seem to be dressed in becomes part of it. Oh no, not the MLMs. So this couple both seem to be like holding each other in embrace. They are both dressed in very fancy. It kind of looks like Middle Eastern, maybe South Asian clothing. They're surrounded by this beautiful kind of like design, along with plenty of cups. So, and they seem happy. So this overall seems like a happy cup. Let's see. Let's see what the book says about both the myth and any other imagery that I'm missing out on here. So the Nine of Cups. I had the Ten of Cups, which was this one, which had to do with kind of like community and like friendship and all of those things. So we have Taj al-Muluk and the Princess Dunya. The Nine of Cups represents happy ending achieved in unexpected ways. Prince Taj al-Muluk fell in love with Princess Dunya, but she refused men. She used trickery, disguising himself as a woman in order to win her heart. Ah, interesting. Doesn't it mean something when it's upside down? Yeah, when it's reversed, it can mean a variety of things, but basically it's either the original meaning of the card is reversed, or, you know, like if it's like a depressing card, it's usually like a happy card if it's reversed. But it can also mean that, like, if it's like a positive card, for example, like this seems very positive. If it's reversed, then it means something is interfering with that, or something is kind of blocking that, or it's this card's meaning but in excess. So if it's like you know, if I were to draw a card that was all about having good ideas and it's reversed, it means that like you're getting too many ideas now to the point where like you can't focus on one. But the imagery here has to do with, let's see, dreams realized, fulfillment, pleasure, recognition. So reverse can mean like the reverse of that. So like unfulfilled dreams, or what it says here, greed, devastation, pessimism, addiction, self-loathing. So those all seem like very intense. So let's see how we can kind of like further delve into this. So in the myth that this card is referencing, we have a person that is using deception to kind of like woo the person that he fell in love with, which like they still get their happy ending, but like that's also an interesting like a bit of a red flag, to be honest. Like, because it says in the original meaning of the card that you're using deception to essentially get what you want. So reverse could mean that like an optimistic way of seeing it is that you refuse to use deception to get what you want, or it could mean that you are using deception and like you're worried about getting caught. If you're not outright deceiving someone, it could also be something like imposter syndrome, where you just feel like you're deceiving someone. It's about my playthrough of Emily is Away. Oh no. So that's one way to kind of interpret that. I'm not too familiar with the myth itself, though I am interested in kind of looking into it. But I am going to do one other thing, which is I want to look at the original imagery of the Nine of Cups. Because what's interesting in all the other suits, once you get to the 9s and the 10s of any card, it usually means an overabundance of something. Ah, okay, so the original imagery of this is just a dude, excuse me, sitting with a whole bunch of cups. And alternate readings of this reverse include materialism, dissatisfaction, indulgence, or inner happiness. So not necessarily like happiness with what you have externally, but happiness with what you have internally. So either we both become part of an MLM or you're on your own. I like that you guys are getting some interpretations here. But yeah, I am having a little trouble reading this one just because like the imagery itself is just very like not simple, but like it's like what are some other I guess symbols that are evident in here? Cuz yeah, like I said, like he's getting what he wants by deceiving her. This could then mean that like yeah, give me a second to think about this. This is an interesting one. So reverse could also mean just like what's the after? Like what's gonna happen after once she realizes that like he deceived her, right? That like it could mean that revealing some truths or like sorry, how do I say this? If this is meant to be like an overabundance of like emotional and like community ties, this could be something interfering with that, and it could possibly be like your own kind of inner thoughts are interfering with that feeling of satisfaction that you could be getting. Shows up with a bag of M&M. Oh, I think I misheard. But yeah, you guys have your own lore of how this is kind of like affecting lives. Let me see what the myth is all about, because now I'm curious. Taj al-Muluk. So Taj al-Muluk. Oh, this is also from Arabian Nights. Okay, this one's pretty short that I could just read it out. King Suleiman Shah of the Greenland and the mountains of Isfahan arranges to marry the daughter of King Zar Shah of the White Land. He sends his vizier to the king and a marriage is arranged. Their son, Taj al-Muluk, is intelligent and well-read as a young man. At 18 years of age, while hunting, he meets some merchants. One merchant, a young man, is reluctant to show his wares, but upon Taj al-Muluk's insistence, shows him a piece of linen depicting gazelles. The young man, Aziz, tells the story of the linen. Aziz mentions that the woman who made the linen is a stunningly beautiful princess Dunya of the Camphor Island. So this is al-Muluk, the dashing young prince, and then this is a gifted princess Dunya, who is the one that made a beautiful linen. Taj al-Muluk immediately falls in love with her, and his father sends a delegation there to ask for her hand. The princess, however, dislikes men and will not hear of it, even threatening to kill any potential husbands if she's forced to marry. Taj al-Muluk, Aziz, and the royal vizier go to the Camphor Islands to set up a shop. One day, an old woman comes to the bazaar to buy fabric for the princess, and Taj al-Muluk gives her fabric as a gift, as well as a letter for Dunya. She and the princess exchange letters, but she will not change her mind. The old woman explains that Dunya once had a dream of a female pigeon who was abandoned by a fowler's net to her mate, and the princess concluded that she must never trust men. Let me read that again. She had a dream of a female pigeon who was abandoned to a fowler's net by her. Oh, so she had a dream where there was a pigeon couple and the female pigeon was abandoned. Taj al-Muluk and the vizier find out about a garden where the princess regularly walks, and the painter creates a picture in a pavilion of a female pigeon in a nest and a male pigeon being captured by a kite. Upon seeing it, Dunya concludes that she misinterpreted her dream, and upon next meeting, Taj al-Muluk falls in love with him. Or she falls in love with him after realizing that she misinterpreted her dream. Taj al-Muluk and Dunya consummate their love, and then, disguised as a woman, he remains in the woman's quarters. What? The vizier goes home and tells the king to send troops to rescue his son. Taj al-Muluk reveals his identity to Dunya, but they are caught by a eunuch and taken before the king for judgment. However, at the point of Taj al-Muluk's execution, his father's vizier comes to rescue him, and their marriage is arranged. Interesting. Okay, so to summarize the tale. He finds out about this wonderful princess who is really good at creating linen, and she's just a very learned and like fancy woman. However, she had this dream where a pigeon was left alone by the male pigeon, but then later on she sees a painting of an alternate interpretation of the dream, which is that actually the male pigeon was caught by a falcon, a kite. So she realizes that, oh, maybe I shouldn't be hating men because of a dream. When there's so many other reasons to hate. No, I'm kidding. But when she next meets Taj al-Muluk, she falls in love with him. And this is the part that's confusing to me. They consummate their marriage, but he's still in women's clothing. And then, like, when they're caught by a eunuch, I think it's probably because the eunuch is like, oh, they're lesbians. That's illegal. So he's put to death, but then at the very last second, the prince is saved by his father's vizier or messenger, and they get a happily ever after. So I'm starting to understand kind of like how this relates to the meaning of the Nine of Cups, where it is essentially like getting what you want, but through deception. So if it's reversed, then kind of like how I said earlier, like different interpretations can include that like you are using deception to get what you want and you will eventually get caught, or that's a fear or some kind of imposter syndrome. Or like it could also be like the reverse of this, which is like you are trying to do things honestly, but there are no results. As opposed to someone who is using trickery and deception but is getting results. So those are two interpretations there. Like I said, another thing with the reverse cards is that it could be something in overabundance. Like, if this is happiness based off deception, this could be like, well now, like, I guess imposter syndrome, that like, yeah, like, you're getting now too much happiness. Time to lie more. Especially because, okay, so the one part that caught me by surprise is the part where they consummate their marriage, but like he's still in the woman's outfit when like, you know, maybe they're into that. But it's also like, oh, after a while you can kind of drop the facade. You can be your true self without having to like keep on deceiving people. So that could be another interpretation, that maybe like you are feeling like you're deceiving people, but like now is the time that you could just drop the act. And also I'm a lesbian. So yeah, that's pretty cool though. I was unfamiliar with this tale, so I'm kind of glad we went into the lore of it. But yeah, let me know if that interpretation makes sense or if you have any questions. Because right now I'm going to actually move the queue so that we're so now that we're on, so we already did Kudaketa. We already did Kiki loading. Was a good card? Awesome. Alright, cool. So the queue is now set. Alright, so if that was a good card, I'm happy. And we got a cool new story out of it as well. It's cool because this comes from Arabian Nights, just like some of the other ones that I did readings for today. And I never read Arabian Nights other than what's been popularized. Get rotated. I love that emote. So the next reading is for Cookie Clifford, and then after that is Sime. And then if we don't get any other requests after that, I might call it. But we'll see. If other people come in, then we can do more readings. But alright, so let me go ahead. First of all, Cookie Clifford, are you still here in the chat? Because now you're up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle. Yeah, if you're still here, Cookie Clifford, please write something in the chat just so I know. Let's go, Cookie. I keep on shuffling and shuffling till I hear back from him. Your hips are— oh my god, how was the concert? And the con. Did you get to see ID? Or I guess is there Viv ID, right? Just got dumped by my internet, punk GF, please. It's already hard enough. It was fun. Oh, that makes me happy. Dang, but rest. I definitely know how like tiring cons can be, especially like, was the venue really big? Actually, even if it wasn't. Ayunda Risu is my ID. I love her music. I want to tune into her streams more. But her music is so cracked. Like I said, I'm still listening to not Scheherazade. Mr. Schadenfreude. Her singing is so good at that. Same with Mira by Kanadia. I was also listening to her and Reine's cover of excuse me. Kakume Valvrade? Not really big. I feel like Kamifuro was bigger. Oh, okay. But still, like, it can be exhausting just being around a lot of people, you know? She's a diva for real. Yes, I agree. I want to tune into more of ID's streams in general. I did see, like, a post, like, a sliding scale of... of, like, if you tune into, like, Hololive ID, how many of them speak more English, or, like... Yeah, how many of them speak more English and how many of them speak more Indonesian? Like, I think Kobo was like at the Indonesian tier. And I think in English, I think it was Kayla that might be like someone who speaks the most English in their streams. You're also friends on 3. Oh no. Okay, so I still haven't heard back from Kooky Clifford. She's saying sing out and there's a new song. Oh, okay. Oh, Anya does a lot of JP and Kayla's EN. Okay, cool. Alright, so Kooky Clifford, I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds to respond. Otherwise, we're gonna move on to Sime. And then if they show up again, then we'll do a reading for them. But otherwise, want to make sure that it's fair and that we get folks that are here in chat. Alright. Going once. For Kooky Clifford. Going twice. Going 3 times and you're out. Well, now you're out. If you return in chat, say something in chat. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go on to Sime. So with that, I actually have to reshuffle, or I want to reshuffle because I always try to, like, when I shuffle, if this makes sense, I try to have like the intention of the person that I'm shuffling, that I'm reading for. So let's do another shuffle, and then we'll read for Sime. The funny stuff after the concert is, oh no, it was raining and flooding. Oh no. Were you able to stay dry, Sime? The survivor must be a ninja holding onto the fence. Oh no. Dang, I hope you stay dry. Oh no. Oh, okay, but shoes are wet. Dang. It was starting to get cooler here in this part of the world, but it got hotter again. But it was still fun. Oh, that's what matters, though. That's what matters. I'm glad you had fun. And you got to see, you know, ID. So, heck yeah. God, all their singing is so cracked. I don't know if I've heard Yofi sing yet. But I've definitely heard Muna. I've heard Ayunda. I've heard Risu. Reina. I don't know if I've heard Anya. Oh no, Anya was in Bad Dead Night, so yeah, I've heard her singing, right? Who else? Ollie, yes. Hobo, yes. Kayla? I don't think I have. Zeta was in Mr. Schadenfreude, so... Hi, 1000! Welcome, welcome! If you would like a tarot card reading, feel free to put !join in the chat, but if you also just want to chill and watch, that's also completely fine. Yofi has a really unique singing voice? Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm down to listen. I more so know Yofi as, or Yofi? As like the artsy person. Kayla got a new song? Oh, cool. Okay, so we are reading for Sime. And let's see which card jumps out. Not literally. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they just jump out? You know what's one from here. One from here. That's what I'm feeling. And I'll go with this one. Cool, I'll check it out. I'll check out the ID Girls' new songs. Or songs in general. Ooh, so we got a Major Arcana card, but reversed. So let's see. Justice. I don't know if I've ever drawn this card like even in my other decks before. So yeah, you got a pretty major one. You got Justice. This one, the imagery looks Japanese. Oh no, Korean. Because look at the hat. I thought it was Japanese at first. So this looks like it's a Korean tale. This masculine looking figure is holding both a sword and what is that he's holding in his other one? It looks like a little pendant with a horse on it. My camera doesn't seem to be like focusing. Look at what he's standing on. Oh yeah, it's almost like it looks like the yin yang, but isn't that also like a Korean symbol? That one I'm not too familiar with, but he is standing in front of this really big building, and then the composition itself is very like central, very symmetrical, which like I have a lot of art teachers that are like, you'd never want like completely symmetrical, but it's interesting. And it is reverse, yeah. So when it was drawn, it was reverse. So that's something to keep in mind. Whenever a card is, yeah, the art is super beautiful. Like the reading I just had with Mega Bronson. If it's reverse, it can mean a variety of things. It could either mean a reversal of the actual symbolism or the actual meaning of the card, or it could be that there's an overabundance of that symbolism. So without looking at the meaning or like the story this is based off so far, just the word justice, you know, like yeah, justice, like the moral right thing to do. So it's very easy to just say like, oh, if it's reversed, then you might be experiencing some kind of injustice, some kind of major injustice, or something that you interpret to be an injustice, right? Or like I said, it could be an overabundance. So it could be that like you're experiencing a lot of justice, and like what does that mean? Like it could also mean like, well, I'm biased because I'm American, but it could also mean like a little bit too authoritarian stuff going on. So like it could be because like when it comes to justice, it could mean that like, you know, justice being served, or it could mean that like there's like this feeling of like constantly eyes are on you. Yeah, like I mean like authoritarian feeling almost. So those are some like those are some interpretations right off the bat. If we keep on kind of analyzing it, he's holding a sword and then he's holding this little pendant with the horse on it, and it reminds me of like, you know, like the traditional not traditional, like the Western statue of justice, where it's like the blindfolded figure with the scales. And does she have a sword too? I forget, but kind of reminds me of that. But as I always do, let's go ahead and refer back to the book. Let's see what this one has to say about it. Here we go. So this looks like it's in fact based off a Korean legend. So Amhaeng, let me know if I'm pronouncing this right. Amhaeng Eosa. Too much bureaucracy. Yeah, that's another aspect of justice that can be negative. Too many like red tape, as the expression goes. So justice is power wielded by both intelligence and impartiality. It is making decisions with all of the facts and accepting the consequences of any choice made. It is punishment of the corrupt and promotion of the deserving. So upright, it's harmony, balance, equality, virtue, honor. Reverse, it's bias, false accusations, intolerance, abuse, and dishonesty. So what I had initially said was that like, yeah, injustice, but could it also mean a lack of balance in your life? Intolerance, dishonesty. But now I'm also very curious about the actual like tale this is from. So Amhaeng Eosa Amhaeng Eosa. Oh boy. Oh no. Secret Royal Inspector of the Joseon Kingdom. Interesting. Watch your back, Seamate. Oh no. I just googled it. I'm trying to find like a good, because it doesn't seem to be a specific story. It seems to be a title for like the secret royal inspector. All right, let's see what we have here. Hello, welcome Serenity of Wind. Thank you for joining the queue. So I do see that there are some chat messages, but let me see what this article says. There's a story about a military unit that introduced an undercover system to unearth internal problems in the barracks. Meanwhile, undercover election observers have reportedly worked against fraudulent and manipulated elections. So a secret royal inspector. They were undercover officials directly appointed by the king and were sent to local provinces to punish corrupt officials and comfort the sufferings of people while traveling incognito. So it could even be like, these are secret, like, secret, not police, but like undercover. So it could even be like the sense of like thankless justice. That like, because you're supposed to be undercover or they are supposed to be undercover, they're not always thanked or appreciated for their work. So let's see what it says in the chat. Already used to being judged. Maybe still have some unresolved stuff from your last fight with a friend. Mostly selfishness that wants him to admit he was wrong and say sorry. Ah, I see. So like the meaning of this card is immediately making you think of like this incident or this thing happening with your friend. So it could be that you're like really wanting like some kind of closure or some kind of justice to be served. Where if because you got this reversed, if it was right side up and you thought of that, then it would be like, oh, then yeah, I got some closure out of it. Like I got like justice. It was served. But it seems like this is almost saying that like, is it worth it at this point that they admit that they're wrong and say sorry? Because ultimately, yeah, like that is what we want. We want to know that like we were correct all along. But I think this might also be saying that, like, as long as justice was served inside of yourself, within yourself, as long as you feel that you are kind of justified in how you felt, then that can also be enough. Whereas this is almost like this feels very forceful. This feels kind of intimidating, especially because of, like, both the composition and he's kind of, like, on top of this symbol of, like I said, it looks like the yin-yang. It looks like he's on top of this, like, symbol of balance. So, like, it's almost intimidating. So this could also be almost like a passive justice. This feeling of like, not necessarily like let go, but really consider why it is that you want that kind of closure. So that, like I said, is one interpretation. But yeah, let me know what you think, or let me know if you want me to like elaborate on other things. I kind of just Googled, because this doesn't seem to necessarily even be like a mythological tale. It seems to be based on like a historical thing. However, I think the Joseon period that was like a while back, right? So this could be like more legendary than historical, but it's just an idea of like an undercover police, an undercover, person that is righting the wrongs, right? So even right side up, it's very almost passive. You even tried to unblock them. You tried to talk like a normal conversation we used to have, but rarely. Yeah, that's where it gets kind of like, I want to say like, yeah, I definitely relate, where like, because it's someone that you see as your friend, there's certain things that you want to let go of, you want to like kind of go back to that friendship, but it's still in the back of your mind bugging you, right? So that's very understandable that like, that's why like this card is at least not telling you, but like kind of not telling you like, oh, just drop it. It's more of like, really investigate and see if like, do you really feel that justice has been served? Or do you feel like, how do I say this? Do you feel like you should continue on without saying anything and try to kind of go on as if things were normal? Or is it going to bug you to the point where you think something should be said, that some kind of justice should be kind of carried out? I know I kind of just, like contradicted myself, but it's not necessarily saying one thing or the other, that you should confront them or that you should stay quiet about it, but it's more so having you think about that. It's kind of putting the onus, as they say, on you. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully it has to do with like finding your own closure. But all right, so let's go on, and for now I'm if Cookie Clifford shows up in chat again, we'll do a reading for them, but I'm going to move the queue along. Nice. You think it's clear enough? Thank you, thank you. Good, good. So, let's do next. And then we just did Sea Mace, and now it is Serenity of Wind. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a reading for you. Just do me a favor and let me know that you're still in chat. Just, you know, type anything, just say that you're here. And we'll do a reading. However, if I complete the shuffling and I don't hear back, you might get skipped. So just let me know. Just let me know that you're still in chat. Nice. All right, I see your comment. Let's go ahead and I'm just gonna shuffle a bit. And then we'll draw a nice card for you. Or I can't say nice. We'll draw a card for you. And we'll see which way that goes. Pet the Magmite. Alright. Let's see which cards kind of jump out. Thinking this one. It's an interesting song. I came from Brazil. Brazil mention. Alright, and then if no one joins the queue after Serenity of Wind, I might just call it there. I am starting to feel my voice go a little bit, but let me actually take a sip of water. Yes, 1,000. Brazil mention. Brazil. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this reading for Serenity of Wind. Yes. Ooh, you got the sun, but reversed. This is an interesting one because right off the bat, I know both the myth and the imagery that go with it. So let's go ahead and look at it right side up. So this is the sun god Ra. I think the first time I drew this, I was like, oh, this is Horus because he has the bird head. But this is because the sun disk is on top of his head. It's Ra. He's on his bark. His boat going throughout his daily journey, and this is the sun. He is the sun god. So basically it's a pretty like relatively straightforward card in that it is discussing like all the things that are associated with the sun. So like brightness, energy, you know, power, that kind of stuff. Ra himself is like an interesting figure in Egyptian mythology because like he is kind of like depending on which version of Egyptian mythology you're going with, because it changes throughout like its 5,000 year history, right? Sometimes the major god is Atum, sometimes it's Osiris, sometimes it's Horus, sometimes it's Ra, who is the sun god. And there are some myths associated with him, but otherwise he's very like he's not usually like the center of a lot of the myths. He more so has myths where he's like sending out other people or other gods kind of on his behalf. But if we go ahead and look at the book in terms of the sun, like I said, usually associated with things like power, brightness, and usually it's a positive symbolism. So here we go. Yes, we have the sun god Ra. This is from Egyptian mythology or Egyptian religion. The sun is success, birth, confidence, even after passing through difficult times. Egyptian sun god Ra proves everything is illuminated with optimism, enthusiasm for the path ahead. However, this was drawn reversed. So that doesn't always mean like negativity, but these are some different ways that you can interpret it. So reverse: missed opportunities, delays, doubt, fear of missing out, and depression. So like I say with reverse cards, I feel like I've been drawing a lot of reverse cards this time around, is that sometimes it could just be the opposite. So as opposed to like bright, shining, power, joy, it could be referring to like, you know, sadness or melancholy, or even just like instead of bursting outward like the sun, you might need to look more inward towards yourself. But it can also mean an overabundance. So like, for example, I've definitely been going through this, but too much sun can also be a bad thing. It's very hot here for some reason. Not in the room, but like when I was waiting for the bus yesterday, man, super hot. But yeah, too much sun can also be a bad thing, you know? So it could be that there's too much explosive, bright energy, where, yeah, it kind of is going more into like, maybe it's more so now you need to look inward towards yourself. So if there's anything that you want to kind of consider with this card, it's probably that like something might be blocking this path to like joy and kind of like brightness, but it's not necessarily darkness. It's more so this could be a sign to kind of retreat more inward, look towards yourself. Going to the mythology, like I said, there's like some myths, but some of the more exciting myths are reserved for like gods like Osiris and Horus. But one thing that is very, very much Ra is his journey on this bark through well, during the daytime it's through the sky. Through the nighttime, he has to go to the underworld and he rides his bark through, I think it's like 13 gates where there's like different challenges waiting him. Sometimes it's like fiery snakes, and sometimes it's a lake of snakes, and sometimes it's a big giant snake. It's a lot of snakes. like, but sometimes he's able to get through these struggles himself. Sometimes he actually enlists the help of other gods. So for example, there's a famous god called Set. Set is the god of chaos and destruction and the desert. Traditionally, he's a very evil god, but when Ra is in the underworld, he actually helps Ra. So that's one thing that you can also keep in mind too, is that like sometimes you have to enlist the help of someone unexpected in order to kind of look inward. So that's another thing too. Since it's reversed, instead of showing his journey in the sky, it could also be referring to his journey in the underworld, where you kind of have to go through a set of challenges. Sometimes enlisting the help of other people, sometimes even people that are unexpected. And then sometimes he does just like recite spells that he knows. So sometimes it's just following your gut. So yeah, that is an interpretation for the sun reverse. It's going through struggles and sometimes enlisting the help of others, and sometimes enlisting your own help, your own inner kind of help. So let me know if you have any questions, any concerns, or if you want me to elaborate on anything. But otherwise, that is the reading. All right, cool. So seems you're satisfied. Yeah, let me know if there's anything else. But I do believe that is the end of the queue so far. So let me go to next. Okay, cool. All right, queue is currently empty, so we can hang around for a bit unless people want to go ahead and join the queue. Otherwise, we might end it soon. We might end the stream pretty soonish. I'm just gonna sip some water while I wait a little. Pet the Magmite. I'm like thinking, should I go to my Zatsu screen or? Yeah, sure. Let's go to my Zatsu screen. I feel like I don't use this bad boy enough. So the queue will remain open if people want a reading, but otherwise I feel like we're gonna end it pretty soon. This is my just chatting screen, by the way. I keep doing that. Over on the left. You like this one? I have like possible chat topics in case people like are like, what do you mean by ancient Egyptian brain surgery? But we could also just use this as a placeholder for if people just want to chat about stuff. Because like I think I mentioned I took a nap before this. I'm still feeling a little sluggish. And a part of me was like, am I just hungry? Like, oh, thank you, Sime. Thank you. I'm like, am I just hungry? But I also ate a really big meal this morning from like a vegan Cuban place. Oh man, the food was heavy. Vivinka with the leather jacket. It's a windbreaker. It's modeled after a windbreaker I have IRL. Yeah, I have little. Oh my god, I never showed you guys that I have little shoes. Yeah, I have Adidas. I'm wearing Adidas at all times. What did I have? I had a okay. So this place is pretty interesting because they do like vegan Cuban food, but I didn't. They also do like vegan versions of like famous places like McDonald's, like and like In and Out. So both Beans and I, Beans is my partner. If you guys don't know, Beans the bear. He is my partner. You should go check him out. Um, we both got a vegan In and Out style burger with animal fries. It was so good, and I a windbreaker with Adidas. Beans is proud. I sure hope he is. But yeah, yeah, we got vegan In and Out essentially. Not actually from In and Out. They call it Veggin' Out, to not not piss off the copyright folks. Yeah, vegan burgers, it could be hit or miss. For me, I love vegan burgers because I grew up on very processed foods. So maybe not the best thing to to be prideful of, but yeah, like I am totally okay with like whatever the hell vegan burgers are made out of. Like, to me, I do like because we got Beyond and we got Impossible meat here. I love both. I like their taste, their texture, all of that. So I'm totally okay with that. But when you put in like the secret In and Out sauce or the Veggin' Out sauce, man, that's so good. And then the animal fries were also good because they had the grilled onion plus the like I don't know what kind of sauce it is. It's like Thousand Island or something. Is that plus cheese, vegan cheese. Little gold chain. No, this is my look. I don't need the chain. I got the earrings already. I already got the earrings. I don't need no chain. Should my next outfit just be like a tracksuit with a gold chain? Just doing like I was gonna say the Slav squat, but Asians also have it. I think both, right? Like, so which one is manufactured? I want to say the both Beyond and Impossible are both pretty processed because it's like, is it pea protein? Not PEE, but PEA, like pea protein. That's how you make Impossible meat, I think, right? Because I've heard a lot of people critique that like Impossible and like Beyond Beef are like very processed to the point where it's like, is it really that much of a upgrade from like just regular burgers? Slavs in Asia, they're just North Asia. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, lab grown meat. I've heard of that too. I'm not sure. Let me look it up. And actually, let me go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and close the queue. And then we're gonna change to just chatting. Yeah, let me look it up. So Beyond Meat, is that lab grown? I thought it was just like pea. Wait, what is this? Yes, it's meat made from plants. Wow, their site is like, yeah, okay, so it's pea protein. They're not really like listing the actual ingredients on the site. They're just showing like pictures. So I see like peas, coconuts, potatoes, minerals. They're minerals. Beets. That's funny. If you go to the Beyond Meat like, website, it just shows the ingredients, but it doesn't really like say. But nonetheless, it looks like it's not lab grown. Though I have heard of that. I have heard of like lab grown meat. Lab grown meat. In the Philippines they apparently have vegan spam, which I want. I want to try that. I miss spam. There's a vegan recipe for like replacement spam. Um there's a recipe to make spam out of tofu, but it just don't hit the same. No, shut up. That was no I'm kidding. My dad made the same joke. um, my dad made the same joke. He's also vegan, but not from vegan. No, there's legit like vegan spam, but it's from like a company in the Philippines. And then Mega Bronson, you're saying that there's vegan spam here? I'm interested. I'm interested because I've only had the recipe that's made from like what is it? Tofu. Like if you press it down a lot and you put it in stuff like I think the recipe was like maple syrup, liquid smoke. Um, there was definitely more. Like, there was definitely more. I've never tried spam, and if I'm being honest, it is very processed. Like the actual spam, super duper processed. It's made from like I want to say probably like all the leftovers of the pig, right? So like if you take that into account, it's not super appealing. But I grew up on it. I love it. It's so good with like the Hawaiian bread, like the King's Hawaiian rolls, or just any kind of bread, really. Vegan long, yeah, I've heard about the vegan longanise. Or sorry, not vegan, vegan. I'm probably not even saying it right, but the longanisa. You saw a reel on Instagram? Ooh, spam is expensive here. I'll just stick with tempeh. I've had tempeh too. Dead pigs? Wait, so the meat is from like, well, of course it's like slaughtered pigs, but like as in like it's already decomposing and stuff? This of course isn't changing my memories of spam, but like but dang. The guy in the reel said that vegan spam comes out crispier. We gotta look this up. I gotta look this up. I'm looking it up. Vegan spam. I only know about the one from the Philippines because my dad follows this one. What is it called? Vegan Filipino food. This one site that has a lot of vegan Filipino recipes. Dang, now that I Google it, there's so many more now. Astig vegan. My dad follows her and he was telling me about the vegan spam. It's meat from multiple pigs, yeah. I feel like it's like the leftovers, right? So yeah, it's a square sausage mix. Not very appetizing, but you know, it's also very salted, which is why it does taste good, especially with like carbs. So it's really good with rice. It's really good with bread. Tempeh is so good. Also, if you cut to dices and deep fry it, stir fry with shallots and sweet. Ooh, I'm saving this. I'm saving your message, and I'm putting it in. I have like a personal Discord where I just have notes. There we go. Save that. That sounds so good. I'm pretty sure I've had tempeh before. I think when Beans first went vegan, I remember. Oh, that looks so good. Tempeh. Is it soy? What is this? Oh, fermented soybeans. I remember having it at a restaurant near the college that I went to. I was part of an organization. We had a meeting at a restaurant ish that no longer exists, unfortunately. But like, they had like tempeh burgers, and it was super good. Ong sang ke kesap or kes yeah kesap tempeh. Oh, I am gonna look that up. Looking it up right now. I just realized my chill hop hasn't been playing. I mean, you guys have just been listening to me talk into the void. Let me copy. I'm gonna copy the YouTube music into my Zatsu screen. There we go. Ooh, okay. Receptumis tempe kesap. Sorry, I'm butchering the pronunciation, but recipe ongseng kesap tempe. Oh, this looks so good. I'm seeing something called oseng tempeh. And then stir-fried tempeh with kesap manis. Yo, this looks so good. Okay, I am super down for this. I'm super down for this. And yeah, let me look up the vegan spam. Let's see if it's available here. Because we have, here in America, we do have a Seafood City. I just don't live near one, but I've been wanting to go. I miss Filipino food. Okay, Oseng is another traditional language for stir fry. Ah, okay. Let's see, where do I buy some vegan spam though? For buying. Unmeat. I found something called Unmeat, an Omni plant-based pork-style luncheon. Ooh, Amazon has them. They also have jackfruit. Oh, but they also have like the real spam, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. I want some. They also have they have vegan Dodger dogs. The Doyers. And I'm realizing, especially because I got some folks not from the States here, but when I say Dodger dogs, does that like elicit any, like, if you're not from the US, what what image does that elicit if I say Dodger dogs? Because it's a baseball team, and I'm not even that much of a sports person, but there's just certain teams that even if you're not into sports, like, you just know them. Like the Lakers, the Dodgers, the Doyers. But I had vegan Dodger dogs one time, and it was so good. Alright, cool. I have like a whole bunch of tabs open of just like food stuff, so. But I'm still kind of full from the vegan out burger and fries, so we'll see. I might just kind of loaf around after after I turn off the stream. Because I do feel my voice now. I am thinking I should probably end soon. So let me, first of all, I'm going to stop raids. Let me refresh. I've been thinking of vegan bacon wrapped in sausage recipe for you and beans. Ooh, that sounds so good. Oh, quite literally like the Dodger dogs, right? Like, or the street dogs. Wait, what are they actually called? The like ones that are like wrapped in bacon? Oh, I hear my cat. That would be so good, but like, when's the last time have I had vegan bacon? Because it's usually just like super crispy. So wrapping them like is that doable? Like, I'm thinking to myself. I don't know if they have an official name. I feel like I've heard people refer to them as like street dogs. Yeah, getting hungry too. Yeah, let's all get something to eat. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can raid into someone who's no one's raiding. I mean, no one's streaming right now that I'm following. Do you guys have any recommendations or anyone else that you guys are following that I can raid into? Yeah, I've heard street dogs. That's what I've mostly heard with like the bacon wrapped hot dog. Otsukare. Oh, you have a recommendation? Yeah, feel free to drop it in chat. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and go to my ending screen. Koragi channel? Okay, let me go check them out right now. Oh, my cat. You guys want to say hi to my cat on the way out? Schnackery. Schnackery. Oh, he's walking away. He's having none of that. He's having none of that. So very awkward. Okay, sure. Yeah, my cat's name is Schnackery. Let me see Koragi channel, and then let me see So Very Awkward. Yeah, thanks everyone for for dropping by, for requesting some readings. I really love doing this, so I might want to do it like every other week. I might do it every other Saturday. Meow. Oh, he wants me to pet him. Almost. Let's do So Very Awkward. I'll go ahead and raid into them. But thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for the tarot card readings. I'll do the same thing 2 weeks from now, but next Saturday I'm going to do some hieroglyph learning again. But I'll post up my schedule on Twitter. I'm just Bibinka Bear on Twitter. So, yeah. I'm thinking more art and video games next week. Plus, on Saturday, hieroglyph learning. But with that, let me go ahead and put in So Very Awkward. And let's go ahead and start that raid. So, thank you everyone once again. And once again, I'll see you when I see you.